Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're doing something a little different. We are literally reverse engineering a viral phenomenon. We've got our hands on a masterclass framework, like an actual step-by-step blueprint, designed to completely captivate a global science and tech audience. I mean, think about the absolute flood of content hitting our feeds every single minute, right? Most of it totally ignored. But every now and then, a presentation drops that just grips your attention from the very first frame. Well, the source text we're deconstructing today hands us the exact formula to pull that off. It essentially teaches us how to structure information so it feels like a high-stakes, gripping interview with a lead researcher who's right on the edge of a massive breakthrough. So, let's break down exactly how this engine of attention is built. All right, step one is uncompromising. The blueprint tells us we have exactly 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds to deliver a massive, attention-grabbing shock right out of the gate. Look, in a world of infinite scrolling, we literally cannot afford to slowly warm up the crowd with boring background info or polite introductions. You've got to jolt them awake instantly. That means leading with the absolute most mind-bending statistic you have, or maybe a visually stunning demonstration of a breakthrough. You basically throw them directly into the deep end of the pool before they even realize they're swimming.
But here's the thing. Once you've delivered that initial shock, you can't just leave them hanging. Step 2 mandates immediate psychological engagement. You have to build curiosity by dropping a provocative question. Why? Because it locks in that initial attention by forcing the viewer to solve a puzzle in their own head. Our brains absolutely hate an open loop. We naturally crave resolution. So, by smoothly transitioning from a visual or conceptual shock straight into a challenging question, you instantly transform the viewer from a passive observer into an active participant. They are literally waiting for you to give them the answer.
And this brings us to the actual frequency, the vibe of the presentation. It's not just about raw data, it's about absolute urgency. The blueprint demands a highly specific aesthetic. Picture this, the cinematic, high-production weight of a premium Netflix tech documentary crashing head-on into the hyper-optimized, fast-paced energy of a viral explainer. You want the gravitas of a massive global event, but delivered with breathless momentum. The tone shouldn't feel anything like a dry university lecture. Instead, it should feel like you're being let in on a massive, world-changing secret right before the rest of the public finds out. So this whole engine relies on a strict, chronological, 6-step framework. We've talked about the hook and the question. Now, step 3 requires hitting the audience with surprising, counterintuitive data. Step 4, that demands short, punchy delivery. And step 5, well, that's where the real magic happens, explaining complex concepts simply. The blueprint actually suggests pulling this off by structuring your content into a series of engaging, short mini-lessons. Instead of one long, dense explanation, you break the breakthrough down into digestible chapters. And crucially, this is key, to make the invisible visible, you must describe vivid visual images that demonstrate how those abstract algorithms actually work inside the machine. You see, the difference between success and failure here really comes down to friction. The blueprint strictly forbids dense academic jargon, that tangled mess of words that just confuses viewers and makes them immediately click away. Instead, it mandates streamlined velocity. We're talking simple, clear language, short, punchy sentences. You absolutely must strip away the noise to reveal highly accessible, easily digestible ideas. If a concept requires a whole paragraph of specialized terminology to explain, well, you're doing it wrong. The clear mandate here is to distill the absolute essence of the technology into words that have maximum impact and literally zero cognitive drag. To pull that off, it requires profound empathy for the viewer. The blueprint characterizes the audience, that's you guys, as curious and highly intelligent, just lacking a specific technical background. So you don't dumb down the concept, you remove the barrier to entry. You speak to them like a smart friend. To do this effectively, you have to ground complex terms using highly relatable, everyday life analogies. You bring in real-world examples of how these technologies are actively being used in our daily routines. And to make sure the journey feels totally credible, the framework dictates weaving in direct quotes and opinions from leading industry experts to validate the information. Now, to make all this stick, the delivery has to be magnetic. It's an absolute requirement. Confident pacing and relentless energetic narration. But look, vocal energy means nothing without stakes. The source text insists we must constantly tie the data back to massive, real-world implications, specifically outlining how these technologies are influencing the development of modern global business. You have to compare these current, unprecedented achievements with past successes, just to show how far we've actually leaped. It tells us to highlight unusual, boundary-pushing AI experiments and make bold forecasts about the key directions this tech will take in the coming years. Basically, the audience needs to feel exactly why this matters right now. Yet, even with all this fast-paced energy, the format operates within strict boundaries. When you're dealing with breakthroughs in fields like AI, it is so incredibly easy to veer into sci-fi panic or some wild utopian fantasy. But the blueprint demands perfect balance. We must highlight the risks and the opportunities evenly. In fact, it explicitly suggests setting aside a specific section just for the arguments of skeptics and critics of the technology. By actively presenting those counter-arguments, you build immense trust. The rule is absolute. Yes, you must be urgent and dramatic, but you are entirely forbidden from exaggerating unverified claims. You have to remain grounded in absolute reality. Which brings us to the final mandate of the framework, the thought-provoking conclusion. The human mind remembers the very last thing it hears, so you can't just abruptly end the presentation. You have to leave the audience with a statement or a question designed to spark a conversation and encourage them to weigh in. So I'll leave you with this. If you had this ultimate step-by-step blueprint to perfectly capture and hold human attention, what complex topic would you choose to explain first? Think about it, drop your ideas in the comments, and hey, thank you for exploring this framework with me.